Hello and welcome back to Testing Sobriety Mounjaro UK. My name is Claire. I'm 47. No, hold up. I turned 48 last month and I'm still not getting used to it. I feel young. I don't feel 48. 48 sounds old. 47 didn't exactly sound young either, but it's taken me a while to adjust to this. So I'm 48 now. 48, 5'4". And I started Mounjaro weighing 168 pounds, which is about 12 stone. It varies depending on the information I look up because I changed scales at the very, very beginning, which changed by a couple of pounds. But just roughly, I weighed 12 stone at the beginning when I first took Mounjaro just over 6 months ago. Actually, 30 weeks ago. So this is week 30. And I'm going to talk you through how it went and finally end on my weight for the week. So I'll start with food. So this week I went away on a short break with Pete. I kept him company. He went on some geeky road trip to Europe looking at retro computer museums and I kept him company. So we were on the road a lot. We were driving a lot. He was driving. I was sitting, enjoying the view. I will post a few pictures that I took of the trip. So we started off we decided to stay in Dover the night before we got the ferry just to make it easier. And we just had a McDonald's. This was a bit of an error on my part. I've mentioned in previous videos, I think I have some food intolerances. It sometimes is bread, more often than not bread, although sometimes I can eat bread. So every now and then I test the theory and end up not happy about it. So we had a McDonald's. I had a Big Mac and fries. I did leave a piece of bread and a bit. So I didn't eat all of the bun, but I did eat a reasonable amount of the bun. I ate all the rest of the burger and only a few chips. And I might have had I think Pete got some nuggets as well. I had 1 or 2 nuggets, I think, to try and get my protein up. And so the Mounjaro was still Mounjaroing at this point, so I didn't finish the meal. I mean, not being able to eat the chips in a McDonald's is not something that was ever a problem for me pre-Mounjaro. So the Mounjaro was Mounjaroing. I'd taken the injection on the previous Tuesday and this was Monday. So this was 6 days into the week. And yeah, the Mounjaro was definitely still Mounjaroing very well on day 6. The problem was that I did have a bit of a intolerance reaction, whatever you like to say, to the McDonald's. It was instant. Sometimes I have my intolerances aren't instant. They might come an hour or 2 later. This was instant pain in my stomach, instant bloating, really unpleasant. Regretted eating that. And luckily, by the next day, I was okay. So it wasn't a problem for too long, thankfully, because we needed to get the ferry the next day. On the trip, we took lots of snacks because we were just literally going past service stations most of the time. The opportunities to eat during the day just weren't there. So the food that I've eaten this week, very, very unhealthy. There's been popcorn, chocolate, crisps, those Ritz crackers, you know, the ones with the cheesy bit in the middle, Ritz cheese sandwiches, I think they're called sandwich crackers, something like that. Quite a few of those. So lots of junk, like highly processed, highly calorie dense, lots of sugar, lots of carbs. Not ideal, but it kind of was a needs must situation. So that's really all the foods that we were eating during the day. Didn't have breakfast or lunch. Oh, there was a good flapjack though. So in Aldi you can get these flapjacks are really cheap, 39p for a big flapjack, and the one I had was cherry almond, something like that. I've seen them in my local shop as well, and they're cheap there too, probably not quite that cheap. And that was a breakfast one day, actually really, really feeling quite a large flapjack. I don't allow myself to eat that kind of food before lunchtime ever, and that's been a rule for me for many years. I just will not start the day with shit food, because it just, well, I think when you do that, you then just feel like, oh, you've already started off on a bad foot, you may as well carry on a bad foot. So that's something that I normally would just not ever do. But if I'm really hungry, then, and if it's a necessary thing, then yeah, it happens. So really unhealthy food throughout the driving, and there was a lot of driving. We did have meals in the evening. So on the Monday night, we found this Greek restaurant. We're in this sort of quite quiet town, and it was not deserted but pretty quiet. A lot of the restaurants were closed, so we were struggling to find somewhere to eat anyway. But we found this little Greek restaurant. It looked really nice. I love Greek food. And there were a few people in there looking like they were enjoying their food. So we went in. The waitress didn't speak English. So we were in Holland, I think, at this point. The waitress didn't speak English, or very little, which is actually really unusual in Holland. I wasn't 100% sure on what the food was. The menu was not in English either. But I ordered a gyros, which I know what that is. I think most of you do. If you've ever been to Greece, you can either have it on a plate or as a wrap with chips. Like you get the chips and the meat and the tzatziki and the salad all together in it. I love those wraps. But this is actually what I got. And if you look at that meat, if you zoom in, it's really dry. And the Mounjaro was really Mounjaroing as well. So when you have a combination of not finding the food particularly appetizing, and you've got Mounjaro really holding back your appetite, it just equates to not being able to eat very much at all. So all I did was have a few chips, and I tried to eat as much of the meat as possible. Some bits, the bigger bits, were less dry. And the sauce on there was a sort of, I guess, like a tzatziki type sauce without the cucumber, sort of oniony, garlicky type sauce. And I tried to eat as much as I could, but essentially what I left on the plate was looks like I'd barely touched it. So not great. And Pete had a mixed grill. He enjoyed his enough. I don't think he sort of raved about it, but he said it was fine. So the Greek food was on day 7, and the Mounjaro was really still Mounjaroing. This was a 3 milligram dose, if I didn't tell you that before. The next day, there was a lot of driving, went to, I think, a couple of museums. Honestly, I don't know where we were half the time. All I know is that we've been in Holland, Germany, and Belgium. Belgium was on the way home, so I at least know that. And we've obviously been in France as well. So I don't even know. I think we were in Germany on the next day, and there was a sort of an American diner style restaurant right next to as part of our hotel. And I was really hungry because just eating snacks all day. And this restaurant was funny. It had a bit of a quirk. It had a robot that brought your drinks over. So that was interesting. I will show you a little video of that. And there I had schnitzel. The schnitzel, it was a teriyaki schnitzel. It had some chopped up peppers, cooked peppers on it. It was quite rich and came with chips, and we also ordered onion rings to share. And it was a very rich meal. Even Pete struggled and didn't finish his and said the same. It was pretty rich, and I think it was just a bit too rich for me. So I didn't manage. I managed more than I had the night before, but I will show you what I left. I actually did take a photo of what I left. And yeah, so the Mounjaro is still Mounjaroing, and that's day 8. So pretty amazing, I think. Well, it's not amazing that I can't finish nice restaurant food, but it is amazing how well the Mounjaro is still working on day 8. And then the following day, we went to Belgium. And I got to stop in a town. So Pete went off to his museum and left me in this really nice, I think it's probably a city rather than a town, called Namur. And it was really nice. I was raging with hunger at this point. So it was about lunchtime, and I couldn't find anywhere to eat for me because I was scared of bread. So I couldn't have, all the cafes had lovely, lovely things, bready things, toasty things, and I was afraid to get any bread. There wasn't any sort of quick food options. There was just sit down restaurants, and I didn't have enough time to sit down. So I was absolutely starving. Yeah, couldn't find any food apart from snacks that we had in the car. But I'll show you some pictures of Namur anyway. It was a really nice city, worth a visit. I'd say I wouldn't go out of my way specifically to go there, but if I was in the area, I would definitely look in and check out Namur. We didn't get to eat until later on. We were heading to the ferry and stopped at services that had a Burger King, and we just shared 20 nuggets because obviously I'm afraid of burgers now, afraid of all the bread at least, and I'm kind of wanted protein, so that was the best option. And I actually ate all 10 of my allotted nuggets. And I have to say, if you haven't had nuggets, I don't know if it's going to be the same in the UK. I assume it should be. The Burger King nuggets are way nicer than McDonald's, in my opinion. They were extremely hot, very freshly cooked, and really nice coating, really crispy. Just thoroughly enjoyed those nuggets. And then we had to get the ferry home, which we almost missed. I won't go into all the details, but a lot of delays at all the various check-in points and passport points and everything like that. And we literally made it onto the ferry with seconds. So I think that we weren't supposed to get on the ferry. We'd been told you've probably missed it. And Pete sneakily sort of saw that they were still loading one more van onto the ferry, and he sort of sneakily went behind the van and sort of got shouted at, but then told, go on, but next time you wait. And literally as he pulled up and parked the car, the gate behind us closed. There was no room behind us for any more vehicles. We literally made it on with seconds, which was so good because I just wanted to get home at this point. I wanted to get home. My cat needed feeding, and I had someone come in and feed her while I was away, but I'd said I'll be back in time to feed her in the evening. And so I really didn't want to. We were both really tired. So actually, here's a picture of Pete sneakily took of me. We found the comfy sofa seats in I think it's called the club bar or something. It's just perfect if you're a bit tired as well to just really chill out on. So yeah, we were both pretty knackered by this point. Dose wise then, it was a 3 milligram dose, and it really did keep me in check for the sort of 8 or 9 days. I then jabbed on the Thursday evening. So once I got home from the trip that night, I took my injection before bed, and I took another 3 milligrams. So yeah, it lasted really, really well across the sort of 8/9 days that it was in my system for. Side effects, I've got a small rash from the injection site, and I also still have the same little rash here. Sometimes it flares up a bit. At the moment it's fairly quiet, and I don't bother I could treat it. I could take antihistamines and put cream on it. I can't be asked. It's not that big a deal for me. I just leave it. I've also been more thirsty. I think since being back on the 3 milligrams, thirst has increased, and I've woken up with my mouth just so dry. So yeah, definitely really quite thirsty on this dose. Last week I talked about Cezanne clothes. I showed you a couple of tops that I'd ordered, and I kept the blue top, sent back the beige one. And I mentioned I was going to look for a green top in the same style as the blue one that I kept. Anyhow, in that search for a second-hand one, because you can't get that colour at the moment in that top, in that search, I actually came across a different top from Suzanne, which is this one here. It's called the Mia top. They do the Mia at the moment on Suzanne, but not in this colour. And I came across this second-hand, and I thought I could get that instead. I've put a little outfit together with some, I've gone for a tonal look, all sort of greens, apart from the brown boots. So here's me wearing this top and just kind of showing you how my figure looks at the moment at this weight that I am, which I'll be sharing with you in just a second. And then I'll show you that older picture of me wearing a Suzanne dress, which I did not keep. I was well aware it did not suit me, but I took the picture to show in a Facebook group that I'm in, where we, the cult of Suzanne, we all love Suzanne clothes and share pictures of us trying them on and stuff. Very sad, very, very sad. But yeah, this dress, picture of me in this dress, not flattering, but it just shows you really the difference that sort of 30-ish pounds makes. Then yeah, I wanted to talk about my goal, because I do think that I am very much near my goal, if not at my goal. And I have decided that I want to lose 2 more pounds, and then I'm going to maintain around there. More than happy to gain a few pounds as long as I just keep on top of it and don't let it get any higher than that. So 2 more pounds to go until goal, which sounds amazing. I nearly said the F word. Sounds really good. But I should probably, based on that, I should probably tell you what my weigh-in was. Let's go on to the Renfo app. So today's weight was 135.2 pounds. Last week it was 135.8. So I've lost 0.6 of a pound, despite the fact that this week I haven't done that much exercise, or hardly any. We did some walking, but then I've had a few night shifts and I've not done much at all. 2 swims this week. So yeah, exercise is definitely down. The junk food way up, but I still lost 0.6 of a pound. So that makes me 9 stone 9.2. And I looked at my Renfo app and I saw that I'd actually set a target of 133 pounds, which is funny because it was only today that I was sort of thinking, what is my goal? I really don't think I need to lose much more at all, if any. And I thought, well, 2 more pounds. And I just came up with that because I actually don't want to lose much more, because I did see someone online that has lost weight and they were looking really good for so long, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, if it's just that extra pound or 2 that they've lost, they suddenly have really aged in the face, and that made me scared. And I'm already seeing that I have aged. The weight loss has definitely shown up on my face a little bit in a negative way, and I don't want that. And that kind of like made me realise you've done enough. I'm really happy with where I'm at. Yeah, I do still want to reduce my fat content, because my fat content is, according to the Renfo scales, still too high. It puts me in the obese category in terms of just like body fat percentage. But I can do that in maintenance because I can just step up the exercise and try to sort of gain muscle and lose fat simultaneously. So that is my plan then. So 2 more pounds, and I'm happy to lose that really, really slowly. If it takes another 2 months or even longer, I don't care. If I don't lose it, I don't care. I'm so happy with where I'm at. How am I going to do the maintenance? I think to start with, I'm going to stay on the 3 milligrams, because I feel like I don't have much wiggle room calorie wise. I don't think I could suddenly start increasing my calories by say 200 a day, and I don't think I'm going to maintain. I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like I would probably gain on that. So I want to do it really, really slowly. So I will be staying on the 3 milligrams and potentially spreading them out a bit longer, because this last week and a bit has shown me that the Mounjaro does Mounjaro in my system for longer than the week at this particular dose of 3 milligrams. Obviously that will wane as time goes on, as it did with the 2.5, but to start with, I'm just going to stay on the 3 milligrams, and then potentially just go out to 8 days, 9 days, and just really suck it and see. The whole thing has been a suck it and see thing. I think that's the case for most people. The only thing that I really try to do is to make any changes that I do are quite minimal, and try and take my time about it. And I'd rather underdo things than overdo things. So I never wanted to go up doses very quickly, and I never wanted to drastically reduce my calories. I always wanted to do things in a slow, steady, careful, thought out way. And I think I have to a degree. So that is it for this week. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a like. Do subscribe if you're not already. That really does help me out. And I will catch you in another video. Bye.